This is UFC vet Sam, the Alaskan Assassin Hoger, and I'm here at Real Martial Arts today covering technique number 3, which is also known as the lead hook. Now, whenever you're throwing a lead hook, some of the key things you want to remember is that you're not trying to throw the punch just with your arm, because remember, a lot of people throw a punch like this with their arm. And if I do it with just my arm, I'm not going to do a lot of damage because, again, the force from mass times acceleration. So as you notice, my arm, again, has a limited amount of mass. So if I'm throwing a hook or a winging punch like this or a haymaker, I'm not going to do any good, not going to do any damage to anybody. What I want to do is I want to create a kinetic chain where I'm pushing from the ground all the way up through my body into the target when I'm hitting it. So the way that I do that is I got to remember, again, that good stand-up starts at the feet. So if I want this power to transfer from the ground all the way through my body into my punch, I got to make sure that my stance is correct. Notice if I'm standing like this, square with my heels on the same line, I swing at somebody, I might be able to do some type of damage to them, obviously, but I don't think I'm going to do anything significant in reference to being able to like finish them or hurt them in any kind of meaningful way. So what I want to do right here is I want to go ahead and I want to stagger my stance. I want to keep my weight on my back leg. By keeping my weight on my back leg, what this allows me to do is it allows me to go ahead and transfer my weight. Notice it's about a 70-30 division. 70% of my weight's on my back leg, about 30% is on my front leg. I'm going to have my elbows in, my hands up, and my chin down. Now I'm going to keep myself staggered again so I can keep my eye right here on you. So while we're right here, when I'm throwing this hook, the thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to engage more than just my arm, more than just my hips. I want to engage my body. So what I'm doing right here, in order to go and fully engage my body, I'm going to pull my toenails, again, up towards my shin bones. You notice I got them up right here. And I'm going to keep this back heel slightly off the ground. Now, with my back heel slightly off the ground, I'm going to dip my shoulder so that I can go outside of where my lead target is. And then I'm going to drop my weight back as I throw my hook. Notice again how I'm dropping my weight back as my hook is traveling that very familiar line. Now remember, the trick when I'm throwing the hook, though, is to try to hit my target accurately. If I throw the best hook in the world and I end up hitting, say, their elbow, so they bring their elbow up and I hit their elbow, or I miss their target entirely, or I just run into their arms, it's a wasted punch. It does me no good. So the thing that I have to remember is that when I'm throwing it, I have to have a place that I want that hit to land. So notice, guys, when I'm right here and I have my hands up, chin down, a lot of people say hit the person in the chin. Personally, I think you should go a little further than the chin, and you should look at the soft tissue right here behind the ear and in the neck area. I think this does a significant bit of damage, whereas hitting him in the chin becomes something that just repetitiously causes the person to absorb impact throughout the fight. And it looks like it's doing a ton of damage because this is a human's face like absorbing impact, but I don't think it does as much damage as if you hit the soft tissue right behind the ear. So notice, again, when I'm right here and I'm throwing a hook, and then, oh wait, before I forget, you also have to decide what type of hook you want to throw. There's an argument between throwing your hook like so and throwing your hook like so. From what I've learned, this is the Irish hook, this is the Mexican hook, this is the Russian. So when you're right here, the beauty of the Irish hook is that you feel the reinforcement of the structure of the punch as it's going through the target whenever you hit square on with the target. Now, when I throw this punch, a lot of times, if somebody brings their hand up like this, your hand will get blocked right here with it between their forearm and their bicep whenever they're throwing that hit. However, when you throw the Mexican hook, as you can notice, there's a space right here that hand fits perfectly whenever you're throwing it, but it does not feel quite as reinforced when you throw it. Now, when I'm standing right here and I'm throwing that hook, you can also throw the Russian hook like Fedor used to do. If you do not know who that is, take a chance and go look him up. Emelianenko Fedor, I'm telling you, this guy is a machine. But he throws this hook beautifully. Whew, you have to go see it. He used to fight in this event over in Japan. Just look up his name, Fedor Emelianenko. That's where you will see a lot of that hook, and that hook is very, very, very powerful and destructive. Nonetheless, I digress. I'm right here. So again, I want to dip my shoulder to the outside. I got my weight. I'm going to transfer my weight from my front leg to my back leg. And I want to engage my hip, my torso, and my arm into that punch. So again, key things that we got to remember. Whenever we're throwing the punch, we want to try to create that kinetic chain that goes from the ground all the way up through your body into the punch. When I'm right here, I have a variety of different hooks I can choose to throw. I can try to throw Irish, I can try to throw the Mexican, or I can try to throw the Russian hook. Now, when I throw a hook, I got to have an objective in mind. If I want to throw the hook as a distraction in order to maybe open up for another punch or to set up for a kick, I can do that. Or if I want to throw it in order to get somebody's guard up so I can go down for a shot, you have to determine what the point of throwing that hook is. Don't just throw the hook randomly. Remember, you have to have an objective whenever you're trying to fight. But your mindset should always be A, B, C, D. For those of you who know what that means. Anyways, back to here. When I throw that hook, shift. Remember, most of my weight, even though I'm shifting, most of my weight is still in my back leg. Dropping the heel, turning the body, bringing the arm through, and the heel drops, the elbow drops. And keep your chin down. One of the key mistakes that I see people make is when they throw the hook, they go like this because they're trying to generate as much force as they can. The problem is now you open yourself up to being hit back. So be very careful about that. Keep your chin down the middle. Look at your target. Oh, man. That hook is a fun punch to throw. When I trained with Floyd Mayweather Sr., he made me stand in front of the mirror. I had to pay this guy. I paid this guy $500 an hour to work with him. This is back when he was training De La Hoya, and De La Hoya was just fought Fernando Vargas, and I had a fight over there in Vegas for the UFC over at the, I think it was called like the Mac Center. Anyways, it was, as a matter of fact, it was the finale for The Ultimate Fighter. And when I went there, I saw that Floyd was at the top ranked gym, Floyd Sr., the dad. And I went over there and I met him and I was like, Floyd, how much for me to be able to get, you know, do a private with you? Says to me, $500 an hour. And I had sponsors back then. So I had like, I don't know, like 16,000 in my wallet. So then like, this is back when carrying cash was the thing. So I was like, that's what it is? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, pulled it out, gave it to him right away. He stops for a second. He looks at it, he goes, let's go. Takes me and puts me in front of a mirror. And before he starts working with me, had me there for 2 hours, just throwing hook, cross. 2 hours. I did that for 3 days in a row, $500, 2 hours. Then after those 2 hours, he came in and started working with me and training me and started doing the pads and correcting. But until I did those 2 hours of work, he would not work with me. He would just, and he'd be off talking with his friends, walking around the gym. He'd leave, he'd come back. And I could tell that he had to make sure that I was standing in front of that mirror the entire time. Little story for you right there. Anyways, this is Sam Hoger here with Real Martial Arts. Remember, again, we did technique number 3, which is the lead hook. Always remember, good stand-up starts at the feet. Try to create the kinetic chain as you punch through your target. Keep your chin down, keep your hand up. And if you have any questions or you would like to train with me in person, I'm over here at Total Performance Fitness. If you are free, we have classes at noon, 6 p.m., we have class at 7 p.m., and we have class at 8 p.m. I look forward to seeing you here. Whoosh.